In the last video, we got a quick glance at what Microsoft Teams is. Now we're going to break it down and show you how to navigate and what expectations there are when using Teams. The first step is to open Teams. You're going to use Google Chrome, which should already be on your computer. If it's not, talk to your supervisor. We're going to open a new tab. I did that by clicking the little plus sign up here. And then we're going to type in teams.microsoft.com/go and then a pound sign or a hashtag. Mine already has it in it, so I'm going to hit enter. Your computer may also have that saved, so you might not need to type that in. So now we're going to talk about logging in. I have my work account here. Your station account should say something along the lines of sign station and then a number at qualitycounts.net. So like sign station 10 at qualitycounts.net. If you don't have an account set up for your station, talk to your supervisor and they'll get one set up for you. So we'll go ahead and click that. You should have your password saved. If you don't have your password saved, talk to the supervisor. They'll get your password. We're going to go ahead and click sign in. And you can stay signed in because you're sharing a station, and everyone that works on that computer should be using the same account when they're posting. So I'm going to go ahead and just click don't show this again, and I'm going to click yes. Now it's asking me to download the Teams desktop app. We don't want to do that. In my experience, when we use the desktop or the Windows app, it tends to slow the computer down. So we ask that you use the web app instead. We do that by clicking down here, and that will bring us in. So the next step after we've opened it and logged in is navigating. On the very left at the top, we have these 9 dots. It just brings up an apps thing, not anything we're interested in. We have activity, chat, teams, calendar, calls, files, 3 more little dots, same thing, nothing very interesting for us. The ones that we use are going to be activity, chat, and teams. We're going to start out with teams. You should already be a member of SignProx training. Under this team, there's a few different channels. There's a general channel, a KY announcements, an NY announcements, outages, and unknown signs. KY announcements is for anyone working on the Kentucky team or for anybody that's working on Kentucky that day. New York announcements, same thing. If you're normally on the Kentucky team but you're working on New York for the day, you should be checking this channel. Outages, you can check this to see if there's an issue with the ARC map or the reference map. If there's not an issue with it and you're experiencing problems, you can post in here to say, hey, I'm having a problem with it. And that would be at Pablo Elvira here. He's the one that fixes all our issues with that. Unknown signs is when you're watching a video and you come across a sign and you're not really sure what to put down for the sign. So before you put it in here, what you do is you use your tools, do your research, and see if you can figure it out. If you can't figure out what the sign is, then we post it in here and we just say, hey, you know, I can't figure this sign out, and a supervisor or one of the post-process team will get back with you, or maybe even one of your own teammates will say, yeah, I recognize that sign, and they'll answer. So that's a place to check for that. So chat here, this is useful if you just want to talk to a person directly, or maybe if there's something that you want to talk about that is not really directly related to the team. Like say you're having an issue with your database. You could pop open a message and say, I'm having problems with my database, or how do I ask for time off? You know, something that isn't necessarily appropriate for an entire team. And then activity here is where you can see what people are doing, kind of like a Facebook feed, kind of thing. So Finian reacted to my post, and if I click on it, it shows me the post and that Finian reacted to it. So this is cool, just to kind of get quickly caught up if you're just looking for what happened since the last time you were in. It's important that once you're clocked in, you are checking not only the chat but also these channels to see if there's anything that pertains to you or anything you might be doing for your shift. The chat icon, let's see here. Yeah, it brings up the chat. Anytime that you post, whether it's in the chat, which is your private messages, or in the regular Teams channels here, click on unknown signs, because right here, Nicole O, she signed this. She's logged in from Sign Station 8. And the issue is that multiple people may be using that computer, so we need to know who is typing these messages. So you need to sign your name to anything you type in there, please. Here is Louise, signed her name. So we appreciate that. It makes it much easier to tell who's saying what when we're trying to follow conversations. So any links that you might need while you're doing your job are going to be under this general channel. I'm going to click general to switch over to it. And we have conversations, which is, where you post and you see what people are talking about. We have files, which you really shouldn't worry too much about. And then we have this here called wiki. This is important because this gives you a quick rundown of all the links that you need to do your job. We have your Kentucky links, which is your Kentucky project tracker. We're going to cover that in a later video. The ARC map, which we'll cover in a later video as well. And then your New York also has the same two links, the project tracker and an ARC map. If you can't remember how to clock in or out, there's your time login. New processors can check their errors posted here. Once you've been trained and you're kind of on your own, you get certified eventually. And when you're certified, you still make mistakes. So we have a different place for you to check that. This is a sign reference sheet. It's just a little bit of some signs, some more common signs that you might see, some of the codes for them, some signs that you might have questions about are posted here. This one we'll go over again later. It's a processing sheet. When you're doing the videos, you list them as processing, and then after you're all done, you go back through and list them as processed. Well, sometimes it's really easy to forget to change over that status. So this is that link that tells you, hey, you forgot to change your video over. This one's pretty important too. This is your training practice sheets. When you first start training, you're going to be using these practice sheets to split up your videos in pre-processing. But once you start to be on your own, you can also use these for your personal, like note-taking, if you will. And then you can just read about how to enter notes on the project tracker. We have something called a SignProx helper tool. You can read more information on that in here as well. And then we also have a standard operating procedures, kind of a written down version of the videos that we're doing, and that's under there as well. And again, that's under general and wiki. Just need to reiterate a couple things. First, please sign all of your chats. Second, when you have an unknown sign, I'm going to click over here. You have to post. You have to post a picture, and we need to know that you're having trouble identifying that sign. We don't want you to just kind of skip over it. So post it in here so everybody can get a peek at it, and we all try to help each other. That's going to do it for Teams. Next up, we're going to be working on the ARC map or the reference map.